All right, how's it going, guys? This is week 3 of a program here. So going into the start of the week, Monday, if you're here, or maybe you're off on weekend, but just to know kind of what's to expect for this week, we're going to start with the Monday workout being the strict pull-ups. So we're basically trying to increase the number of reps we do in a shorter amount of time. So if you've been following the lower rep scheme, let's say the week one, we were kind of doing like 1 to 5 reps at first. So let's say if you're following the ones, you're doing 10 total reps in that 10 minutes. Now, if you follow that lower rep scheme, so in this case, it's three, we're going to try to do three every minute on the minute for 8 minutes. We're going to get 24 pull-ups done total. So use the same progression you've been doing, but see if you can get a total increase in volume. So compared to last week, have a little bit more volume completed. So if you did, let's say last week you did 20 reps, let's see if we can get 21 or 22 reps done. We want to try to get more work done in a shorter amount of time. So after that, going into our workout, that's a fun gymnastics barbell chipper. So think of this one as we're testing our strength, our skill, and the conditioning of that. How well can we keep that movement capacity up throughout the workout? This one is a chipper. What that means is like we're going through it once. So you have to think about how you're going to pace this workout going right off the bat because there are big chunks of reps in there. We have 20 power cleans, 40 toes to bar, and then 60 hand release push ups all in 10 minutes. So go into this with a strategy of how you're going to break it up so that you can keep moving consistently, but you're also keeping it at a good intensity. And what that means is like it's challenging. You're not taking really long rests, but you're also able to kind of keep that intensity up. So we're going to find that kind of fine balance. Personally, maybe I'd break up the power cleans, sets of 3 or 5. Going into toes to bar, I think I'd stick around somewhere between 5 to 10 in a row. I wouldn't go any further. And then hand release push ups, probably same thing, 5 to 10 in a row before I need to take a break. So that way I can keep a good pace and chip away at it instead of like do a big chunk and then have to take a long rest. You'll pay for that later if you do that really early in the workout. Following up, Canada Day coming in, we're going to just keep our same routine. We're going to do our back squat, 6 rep max. So we're getting heavier now. So we were working on 10 rep, 8 rep. This week is a 6 rep max. So we should see an increase in weight there. And then in that, see if you can look at last week's, progress that off of last week's weight. Maybe you did, let's say 200 pounds. Let's try to go up to 205, 210, or even 215. So we want to be a little bit heavier than last week. And since we're working into the lower rep ranges, we're starting to touch upon more of that neurological adaptation. So less endurance and now more strength based. So really good. Again, in this cycle, we're trying to touch base on all the attributes. We want that capacity and we want to also challenge that neurological strength. So that's the direction we're headed in this cycle. We're about halfway now through this 6 week cycle, just so you guys know. So we're going to keep building off of this. The workout, we got a fun one. 5 rounds for time, 15-minute cap, 20 side to side overhead med ball slam. So basically, instead of slamming the ball straight down in front of you, you're going to slam the ball on one side. So think of like where your right foot is. You're going to slam the ball on the outside of the right foot on the ground and then rotate overhead, kind of like do a half moon and slam it on the other side. So as you guys know, in the beginning of the cycle I talked about, I want to see some more rotations done and really challenging those lateral change and rotational planes too as well. Because a lot of the movements we do are definitely in that linear direction. And if we use it, we can lose it. So better to keep our body moving fluidly so that we also reduce the risk of injuries. So that's why we got that in there today. That should be fun. It'll also be a little bit loud too as well. So 20 side to side med ball slams, going into 20 jumping alternating lunges, or a little bit of plyometrics, some speed and power in there, and also definitely muscle fatigue in that. Those jumping lunges, that's a lot of time under tension, so expect that. And then 60 double unders at the end of each round. So think of today's kind of like lower body midline endurance. You want to hit this at a nice tough pace, but something you can sustain. Remember, it's 5 rounds, so when you get into it, you do that first round, kind of give yourself a quick little check out of 10. How hard did I go? Was it a 10 out of 10 or was it like a 5 out of 10? and then kind of monitor that pace. And you want to be sitting at like a 7 or 8 out of 10 in terms of intensity, or like how much effort you're putting into it, so that you can sustain this for those 5 rounds. If you feel like you're gasping for air after that first round, back off a little bit. Is to get into at least the fifth round. So finish 4 and try to get into that fifth round. You'll still get that stimulus out of today if you're working hard for that time. But other than that, good one for Tuesday. Following that up onto the next day, we got our longer kind of endurance-based workout. So today we're going to work on endurance and movement efficiency. So we want to really move well and think about like how many reps we want to do per set. So here's how the structure works. Every minute on the minute for 25 minutes. It's for consistency. So that means trying to get the same reps per round. 1 minute of hang power snatches. So a little bit of a technical movement, but not too technical because we're going from that hang position instead of from the floor. Lighter weight, so you guys can work on kind of cycling the bar a little bit. 2nd minute, bar facing burpees. 3rd minute, sumo deadlift high pulls, the same bar, same weight. And then 4th minute, calorie bike with a 5th minute rest. Now go into this like it's a minute of work. The barbell work doesn't need to be done unbroken. So maybe you want to do like a set of 5, put it down, and then do another set of 5 and then put it down. That will probably be a better strategy than trying to work for the entire minute, because what will happen is like your grip will fatigue and then you're just trying to get the bar up into that position, and that's not where we want to get to. We want to still keep the technique of the movement. We don't want to just chase after kind of the sweat or the intensity. You want to definitely get intensity out of it, but not at the sacrifice of losing your form and your technique. So break it up, sets of 5, maybe 7, or even up to 10 at a time. And it's not the expectation to be moving consistently with your hands on the bar for the full minute, especially for those barbell movements. Bar facing burpees, calorie bike, I do want you to try to maximize the minute. You kind of have a little bit of rest. I mean, on the bike, you don't need to come off the bike to take a rest in between calories. Just slow down a little bit. Same thing with the bar facing burpees. Take some a little bit of a breather, slow down how fast you come up and jump over the bar. Other than that, I would say like rep ranges, if it helps for you guys to think about, we want to go about 10 to 20 hang power snatches in that minute, 10 to 15 bar facing burpees, 10 to 20 sumo deadlift high pulls, and then the calorie bike, again, can vary from person to person. And also, since you got to rest, we're going to say like 10 to 20 calories. If you guys are really good at the bike, probably on the higher end. But again, height too as well, if you need to, you might be aiming for those 10 calorie marks for the 4th minute. Next day, we got our gymnastics skill, which is varying each week. This week's skill is the ring dip. Such an awesome movement because we get to test our stability in our shoulders, and our wrists, our elbows in that position. The rings are moving, so a lot of our stabilizers are turning on. We're going to work on the strength in our triceps and in shoulder extension as well. So this is the plane where our shoulder kind of goes back, and this is going to help us really work on the control, the stability in our shoulders as we build up to that ring dip, or if we do have ring dips, and work on them today. So it's 5 sets of 5. Tempo is 2 seconds on the way down, 1 second hold, quick on the way up, and then a second hold at the top. Let's pick a progression, whether it's ring dips, bar dips. Maybe we're going to be doing it where we jump up and then try to just work on the descent on the way down, or maybe we're working on push-ups. Whatever the tempo is, or whatever the progression is, we're trying to get after the same idea. We're getting into that extended position of our shoulder. We're really controlling it and stabilizing it as we're doing it. So really good strength work. Ring dip's going to help a ton with push-ups, things like push-ups. If you want to build up into like higher level gymnastics, like in our case, like maybe muscle ups or ring muscle ups in that case. Or if you're working to just get your shoulders stronger, there's a lot of benefit from doing this movement because of the variance and how the rings move. So if you want to enhance that shoulder stability, or you have some injuries that sometimes come back, this is something that maybe is a cool way to actually work up to use as a marker to see how your shoulder is progressing. After that, plain and simple, 2,000 meter for time. This is a staple benchmark. This is going to test our kind of mid-short range endurance. So when we do this one, we want to be at that like 8 or 9 at a 10 intensity. So it does feel uncomfortable probably for the majority of this. When you finish this, you'll feel that lactic acid burn. You'll feel it in your legs, in your lungs, in your arms. You should feel that when you get this done. You got 12 minutes to get through it. I would say on average, I think people are going to be around, let's say, that 8 to 10 minute mark. Again, if it's your first time, just see how far you can get in the 12 minutes or even get it done. Some of you have done this before. See if you can beat your time by 5 to 10 seconds. Make that a small little goal for you today. After that, so into Friday's workout, we got our weightlifting. So we're working on our plyometrics. So we're working on that generation of speed and stability with our body weight to start. And it's also helping us learn how to land and create stability. So the depth drops, we're going to do 5 every 90 seconds for 4 rounds. We're practicing just simply jumping from a height and landing in a nice stable position. So the height is not super important. I would say, like, if you are at 30 inches and then you want to go higher, it probably doesn't make too much more sense to do that. I would focus on like trying to land and be as stable as possible when you land. Don't land on your heels really hard because that'll put a big shock in your system. So you're thinking about landing with as much quietness as possible. So when you land, it should be as quiet as you can. If that's getting really good, another area to look at is to start working on your visual and your inner ear and those systems. So what I would do is like get up to the top of the box and keep my eyes on a target, jump down as I'm jumping down and land. Throughout that whole process, I want to make sure the target stays clear. If you have better visual acuity as you're moving in that speed, your body is going to be more comfortable moving at those speeds, moving a barbell, or even doing any type of movement that requires you to go down and up really fast. So that's kind of like another progression that you can take. It's like pick a target and practice trying to be really focused on that target while you're landing down from that box. So don't worry about going up in height. I don't want to see boxes stacked upon boxes. You want to be focusing more about the stability. And if that's pretty good, let's focus on adding the visual and the inner ear into the mix and seeing if we can enhance that stability as well in it too. Every 90 seconds after that, we're going to do our power clean. So kind of putting it together, working on power and explosive power mainly on today, some technical skills with the power clean. So with today, you guys are going to have fun, more explosive work, and building off of last time. We got 2 power cleans this time. So 2 weeks ago, we did 3. So you can go a little bit heavier for the sets of 2 this week. Then going into our workout, we're going to do something a little bit different. I kind of made this benchmark myself, dumbbell Diane. So it's a play off the workout where it's deadlifts and handstand push-ups. So this is going to be all dumbbell themed. So we're going to do dual dumbbell deadlifts with the 50 pounds for guys, 35 for ladies, and then handstand push-ups off of the dumbbells, obviously off the handles, not off the ends. So different wrist position. So we're going to challenge more of a neutral grip than a open palm kind of stance. So that will be a new challenge there. So 21 and 21. And then at the end of each round, we're going to do a 100-foot farmer's carry. So we're going to challenge that grip too as well. So I'm interested to see how this one goes. You guys have 10 minutes to work through it. Try to get to the last round or get it done in the 10 minutes, but a good upper body. And even I would argue to say a little bit of posterior chain activation too with doing the deadlifts, farmer's carries, and then even sometimes in the handstand push-ups, we're working that back as well. So going into Saturday, we got our upper body press. So we're going to do a 3-rep max, build off of last week. So same idea, look at how heavy you went last week and then see if you can add a little bit of weight on top of that. If it's new to you, just spend the 15 minutes to see if you can build up to something heavy, good form for a 3-rep max strict press. So, and the goal is working on upper body strength. Following up that, quick little body weight workout. AMRAP 18. We're going up in reps, lunges, dips, box jumps, sit-ups, and air squats. So all body weight. You're going to do 1 every round, 1 rep of everything, then 2, then 3, then 4, and so forth. And you're going to keep going. So longer workout. As the reps get higher, the more muscle endurance that we're going to introduce into this. So you might want to break it up a little bit later on. Things like dips, you'll probably have to break up. But the rest should be more straightforward. So you're moving a little bit more consistently through those. Finally, last day of the week, we got our choose your own adventure strength portion to start. 5 sets of 5, deadlift, front squat, or weighted lunge. So either last week's progression, choose that and build off of that, or maybe you want to just do something different every week just so you have a little more variance. So you can definitely do that. And focus on those 5 sets of 5 on a weakness that you may have. Maybe it's about like trying to get activation in the right areas, maybe the hamstrings a little bit more, or you're working on your posture. So take that time to work on that. Or if you're really good, you're comfortable with it, let's maybe focus on kind of building a little bit heavier today. So just kind of see where you're at and talk to your coach to find a better like option for you and what makes the most sense based on where you're at in your journey. Finally, partner WOD. So we're going to grab our friend, and this is an EMOM 12. We're basically working for 1 minute and resting for 1 minute. So partner 1, assault bikes, partner 2, rest. Then partner 2, assault bikes, partner 1, rest. And we're just going to go back and forth. So assault bike, kettlebell swings, burpees over the wall, and then we're going to reverse that. So we're going to get to the top and then do the burpees over the wall, kettlebell swings, and then finish with the assault bike at the end. So this one's mainly we're going to focus on our sprint intervals. So we're working on that kind of higher intensity range of our conditioning. And so really utilize that 1-to-1 work rest ratio. Really try to get to like an 8 or 9 out of 10 effort on each minute, because you got a 1 minute rest after that. It's not complete rest, but it's enough to allow you to kind of get back into it again and push hard. So good little workout to end off the week there. Hope you guys had fun with this week's workouts, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next week of workouts.